In the wild, it's vital to move with the times. Whether getting out of trouble, searching for a meal, or traveling around the world, creatures have incredible ways of moving through life. A vast, flat grassland, littered with trees and shrubs, the African savanna. It's the perfect environment for speed and home to some of the biggest, fastest, tallest and best-known animals on the planet. But which of these four-legged safari stars is the best mover? Each one has different moves, but these come at a cost. To find out what their crucial design faults are, let's take each animal one step at a time. The cheetah is well known as the fastest runner on Earth. No animal's better designed for speed. A light, lithe body, a tail used as a rudder for sharp cornering, a small head to reduce wind resistance, and a spine like a spring to give extra reach. Special paw pads and non-retractable claws act like running spikes. All this helps it reach speeds of 110 kilometers an hour. But to be the fastest on four legs, you must pay the price. Burnout after only 250 meters. The cheetah's main target is the Thompson's gazelle. They're smaller and slower, but it's hard to catch something that leaps like a nervous ballet dancer. Only 1 in 5 hunting trips are successful. Most cheetahs live less than 10 years. As they depend on their feet for survival, any foot injuries usually spell the end. If speed isn't the perfect answer, what about height? Giraffes have the same number of vertebrae in their necks as humans. Their bones are just longer. They've escaped becoming victims by becoming giants, up to 6 meters tall. They're distinctive walkers. Both legs on one side swing forward at the same time. But when they run, it's all change. The hind legs move together and ahead of the front pair. It's ungainly, but it works. Long necks make reaching tall trees easy, but they also make drinking awkward. Elastic blood vessels with special valves stop blood rushing to the brain. Without these, they'd pass out. Crossing water reveals a further design problem. They just can't swim. This can have fatal results. Elephants do like water, and if it's deep, they've even got a periscope. At up to 6 tons, African elephants are the planet's largest land animals. Being this big has its benefits. Like the giraffe, adults have no predators. But being a heavyweight also has major drawbacks. Elephants can't move quickly. Just walking puts as much strain on their skeleton as a racehorse galloping at top speed. When they charge, they're in serious danger of pulling muscles and shattering bones. Fast moves take more energy, and more energy means more food. A lot more. Life is a constant search for food and water. A big body means an elephant can easily overheat. If they speed up, they risk death from heat exhaustion. We've seen design faults in the giraffe, cheetah, and elephant. Is there another way? There is, and it's an unlikely one. Ostriches reach 70 kilometers an hour on just 2 legs, but unlike the 4-legged cheetah, they've got lots of stamina and can keep going for at least 30 minutes. They're big, so they're no easy prey. A powerful forward kick with a single sharp claw can kill a lion. 2 legs, a beak, and wings that don't work. Yet, it's one of the plane's most successful movers. Evolution has a way of rewriting the rulebook anywhere on the planet. Unlike the open plains, the rainforest is a mass of obstacles. It's a maze, a tangled mess of branches, leaves, and vines. Getting around this 3-dimensional world takes different skills, different shapes, and different moves. Fast and furious, leaping and swinging, tumbling and falling. That's the way to move around the Amazonian forest. Or is it? A sloth, the classic slow mover. Sloths sleep 20 hours a day. And when they do move, it's at 1 kilometer per month. That's 3.5 years to do a marathon. Sloths seem lazy, but perhaps they're moving in mysterious ways. In fact, the sloth is perfectly adapted to jungle life. But when the rest of the rainforest is a frantic hive of activity, how does it manage it? To find out, we need to know more about its neighbors. Nothing could be less slothful than this. These animals are on the move for food. Spider monkeys are designed to live the high life. 90% of their diet is fruit and seeds. These need to be plucked from many different trees, so nature's given them the perfect frame to keep on the move. Long, sinewy arms, supple shoulder joints, and hooked hands let them swing from branch to branch in a rhythmic motion called brachiation. It's very effective. In a single arm stride, they cover 12 meters. Their feet are long and stretched, and the big toe works like a hand to grasp skinny branches. When it's too far to swing, they use powerful back legs and flexible branches to launch themselves. But it's not just their arms and legs which make spider monkeys the masters of treetop travel. Prehensile tails, longer than their bodies and narrower than their limbs, wrap around trees like an all-purpose fifth arm. The tip's hairless on the inside to help grip. The tail can support the monkey's full weight. They can reach the flimsiest branches to grab fruit and escape predators. Nowhere's out of bounds. But the sloth's still hanging around. It grips branches with huge hook-like claws which lock into place so tightly that even a dead sloth stays put. Unlike most mammals, a sloth's fingers and toes are bound together by skin. Only the claws are separate. Its feet can rotate almost 180 degrees, twice that of a trained ballet dancer. Above the sloth, life's still on the move. Woolly monkeys are bigger, fatter and furrier than spider monkeys. They're one of the Amazon's largest primates. They'd rather drop than leap. A woolly monkey's life is a daily swing and tumble over a 4-kilometer feeding range. Their grasping hands are more human-like than a spider monkey's. They have a proper thumb. Crashing through leaves, splintering branches, woolly monkeys are on a relentless quest for food. But still, the sloth hangs on. What for? Why is the sloth such a slug compared to its neighbors? Especially its next-door neighbors. Marmosets are quick, agile jumpers. They're one of the smallest primates in the world, but can jump nearly 4 meters using powerful hind legs and a long tail for balance. Marmosets crawl on all fours like squirrels, and unlike the other monkeys, have got claws instead of nails. These claws don't just help movement, they also keep hold of slippery meals. These primates are always on the go, searching for the best food. But the sloth's not a fussy eater, and that's the secret of its success. Its metabolic rate is half that of a monkey, so it can make do with whatever's to hand or hook. The poorest quality leaves suit it just fine. Its digestive system moves the slowest of all. Meals sit in the stomach for up to a month to extract every last bit of energy. And just once a week, nature calls. Gripping the bark tightly with its claws, the sloth slowly shuffles down to the forest floor. Now the sloth's stumpy tail comes into play. It uses it to dig a small hole before fertilizing the soil with its droppings. A sloth skeleton is so well adapted to hanging in the trees that life on the ground's a complete drag. Its limbs and back muscles are so weak, it can't even stand up. However, the Amazon rainforest floods frequently, and it's then that the sloth reveals some unexpected moves. They are surprisingly graceful swimmers. Thick fur keeps them buoyant, and they can dive and remain underwater for up to 7 minutes. Their gangly front legs are longer than the back ones. This strange arrangement helps climbing and lets them paddle through the water with ease. Swimming's the one thing sloths can do relatively quickly. So it's the best way for them to move to different parts of the forest and, if needs be, escape predators. Back on dry land, it's business as usual. A slow clamber back up to a comfortable height to hang out, eat, and sleep. Sloths and monkeys may move very differently, but their basic body plan, 4 limbs and a tail, is the same. But a fellow South American resident shows that you don't need these extremities to be a success. At up to 11 meters long, the anaconda is one of the largest snakes in the world. They move forward in waves. First, they stiffen their ribs to provide support, then lift the scales on a section of their belly. On land, it's slow going. Top speed is 1.5 kilometers an hour. But like the sloth, the anaconda saves its slickest moves for the water, particularly if it smells a meal. The anaconda's eyes and nostrils sit on top of its head, so it can watch and breathe while lying in ambush. They're real stealth swimmers, no ripples to alert their intended victim. Until it's too late. It coils and loops its body around its prey, crushing it with powerful muscles. The anaconda tightens its grip every time the caiman exhales. Soon, there's no room left to breathe. Victims are eaten head first, so their limbs fold back and they're easier to swallow. Each bite is followed by muscle contractions that force the meal down. It's an efficient process. No mess, no fuss, and soon no trace of the unwitting prey. Some prey animals have developed ingenious ways of getting out of trouble. The forests of Madagascar are home to one of the world's most unusual movers. Shivakas belong to an ancient group of primates, the lemurs. There are more than 20 different species of lemur, but the shivaka is in a league of its own. Shivaka's legs are very long compared to their bodies and arms. Their hands are slender and strong. But long legs come at a price. Unlike other lemurs, shivakas can't walk on all fours. They bounce. They can jump up to 10 meters and even navigate thorny trees with pinpoint accuracy. This ability to make long, precise leaps helps them escape Madagascar's top predator, the fossa. Fossas look like a cross between a dog and a cat, but they're actually a giant mongoose. Trees don't guarantee safety, so shivakas must jump to where the fossa can't follow. Foss's large paws just aren't nimble enough for them to navigate the thorns. But treetop acrobatics are only one of the Shafaka's tricks. It gives its real movement masterclass on the ground. When it hits a clearing, it starts to skip, the fastest way to avoid trouble. No other creature moves in this way. Leaping sideways is the Shafaka's trademark. Agile on land or in the trees, the Shafaka makes light work of clearings, but it hasn't got all the moves. In the rainforest of Asia, there's another way to get down from the trees, taking to the air. The flying lemur. It can't really fly, and it's not even a real lemur. It's a colugo. But this curious creature carries a unique backpack. Shrouded in what looks like a furry blanket, it hops awkwardly up a tree trunk. It may not be the most graceful of climbers, but when needs must, to escape predators or search for food, the colugo just lets itself go. It catapults from its perch and glides distances of up to 100 meters. A thin membrane of skin connecting its neck, tail, and toes. Colugos can steer a little bit, but much is left to chance, and the only way is down. These strange animals use the air, but they haven't mastered it. They've left that to the birds. Watchful birds circle the coast off Hawaii. A group of young albatrosses are trying to fly for the first time. Several rise into the air just short of the sea, but two make splash landings. For one of them, this proves a bad move. A very bad move. Two chicks. One flies, one dies. But to find out why, we first need to understand how the albatross masters flight movement. Albatrosses are the largest and most graceful flyers in the world. The wandering albatross, with a 3.5-meter wingspan, is the biggest of all. These huge birds are designed to glide, rising into the gusts of the wind and falling when the wind lulls. They rarely need to flap their wings and can stay in the air for days, months, even years. The wind provides nearly 98% of the energy they need to fly, and 4/5 of their lives are spent in the air. But they can't breed on the wing, so these graceful flyers must eventually come down with a bump. They fold their huge wings in 3 places, tuck them into their body, and prepare to mate. Albatrosses lay just 1 egg a year, and it's 5 months before their chicks are ready to fly. Even though they're light for their size, albatrosses need to build up a lot of momentum to take off, and need a little luck. Tiger sharks patrol the water. They've learned there are easy pickings here. The first crash lander makes the right moves and gets a lucky break. Frantically paddling the water and flapping its wings, it manages to build up speed. A sudden upward current of wind lifts it into the air and carries it to safety. But the other chick isn't so lucky. It desperately tries to get some lift from the wind, but its wings become waterlogged and the air currents force it back down. The shark senses a kill. The young bird fights back with its sharp beak. It aims at the shark's eyes, but they're shielded by a tough protective membrane. The fight is far from fair. Like 1 in 10 first-time flyers, this young albatross ends up in a watery grave. One wrong move, and there's no second chance. Albatrosses fly for miles on 1 wing beat, but at the other end of the scale are these frenetic flappers. These tiny birds beat their wings so fast, it's a wonder their hearts don't explode. Hummingbirds are found in the Americas and are the smallest birds in the world. Hummingbirds use the same nesting site year after year. They save all their moves for the air. They're nature's helicopters. They can fly forwards, backwards, sideways, and even hover. Their wings beat around 78 times per second during normal flight and up to 2,000 times during a dive. Only insects have faster wing beats. Their wings work like tiny propellers, rotating from the shoulder like an oar. It's this that allows them to move in all directions. But such dramatic moves take a lot of fuel. Hummingbirds are sugar addicts. Their hearts beat at up to 20 times a second, so they need to fill up with nectar every 10 minutes. They consume half their body weight every day. That's up to 12,000 calories to keep these jeweled acrobats in perfect motion. At first sight, the African quelea is an ordinary-looking bird in comparison. They're small and dull brown with no distinctive features. But when they get together, the picture changes. There are more quelea than any other bird on Earth, and when they move, it's en masse. Huge flocks sweep across the land like a plague of ravenous locusts. As they migrate and search for food, they can destroy up to 60 tons of grain in a day, eating half and battering the rest to the ground. These vast swirling flocks are perfectly synchronized, moving as if they had a single mind. Miraculously, they never crash into each other. The physics of this mass movement remains one of nature's great mysteries. Magnetic force, heat convection, the way dust particles move, all are potential explanations for how birds flock, but we still don't know the answer. Colonies of up to 10 million quelea nest in thorn bushes and trees spread over 7 square kilometers. But huge numbers don't guarantee safety for all. The flocks can be penetrated. For predators, running into quelea is like a free-for-all in a supermarket. Turtles, jackals, marabou storks, and eagles all take advantage. Quelea on the move are awesome, but as the sun sets, they must settle down to roost. Then it's the turn of very different flocks to fill the sky. These animals are masters of flight. They can dart and weave through the air in total darkness, but even bats can be ripped out of the sky. To understand how, we need to fly with them. Mexico's twilight skies are blackened by a flapping mass of wings and bodies. A flock of free-tailed bats. Individually, they're small, about 9 centimeters long and only 14 grams. But up to 20 million of them can share the same cave. Bats are mammals, but their bodies are designed for moving through the air. Short neck, large chest, narrow stomach. Bat wings are made of bones and elastic muscle fibers sandwiched between 2 layers of skin. They are the only mammals capable of true flapping flight, unlike the gliding colugo. At dusk, huge numbers leave the safety of their roosts to feast on moths and flies. Flying at speeds of up to 55 kilometers an hour, they use echolocation to navigate and tell the size, texture, and even the direction of moving insects. But echoes aren't always enough to escape trouble. Red-tailed hawks can snatch bats right out of the air. Hawks have excellent hearing and the sharpest eyesight of any animal. They can see much farther and 8 times clearer than humans. So picking out a bat in the twilight is easy work. The red-tails hunt by stooping. They dive at speed and pluck the bats out of the sky with their talons. A hawk can catch up to 6 bats a night. However skilled your movements, in this aerial hunting ground, you can still be a target. Many sea creatures are also masters of flight. But flying through the sea is a different ballgame. Water is 800 times thicker than air and requires very different skills. Barracudas are the cheetahs of the deep. Their bodies are shaped for speed. They can pull in their fins to reduce drag, and a slimy mucus layer on their skin helps them cut through the water, like torpedoes. Like hawks, they have sharp eyes and attack prey at speeds of up to 50 kilometers an hour, taking huge, snapping bites with their powerful jaws. They dart towards bright light or any sudden movement that might indicate a meal, and once their sights are set, they're locked on. Barracudas aren't the only fast swimmers in the pool. Striped marlin slice through the sea like a knife through butter. These 3.5-meter hunters are designed for killing. 200 kilograms of streamlined muscle tipped with a lethal bill. Moving at up to 100 kilometers an hour, they slash at prey like expert sword fighters. They're perfectly equipped to fend and kill for themselves. So why do they gang up to hunt? To find out, we need to join in. When it comes to hunting, these masters of movement don't just rely on speed. Their brains are as sharp as their bills, so they can choreograph a kill. During the spawning season, marlin group together to hunt as a pack. In an awesome ocean spectacle, they herd shoals of fish into bait balls. Once corralled, the fish can't escape. The marlin move in for the kill. A small group is picked out and separated from the main shoal. And then it's lunchtime. Rather than speeding through life, some fish go in for gliding. The big daddy of these underwater albatrosses is the manta ray, with wings up to 6 meters from tip to tip. Manta rays roll their triangular fins in an S shape, up and down from head to tail. They glide through the water like an outspread cape. Manta is the Spanish for blanket. Old-time sailors called them devilfish because of their awesome size and the horn-like growths on their head. But in fact, mantas are surprisingly gentle giants. They sometimes lie on the seabed, but spend much of their time swimming acrobatically near the ocean's surface. As they gracefully loop the loop, the mantas feed through a filter system. They draw water into their mouths and sift it through their gills. Any plankton sucked into the manta's mouth are imprisoned and siphoned into the stomach. All the animals we've seen so far have one thing in common, a skeleton. But some of nature's most extraordinary movers have done away with skeletons completely. These are spineless wonders. Jellyfish actually use jet propulsion to power their way through the sea. Their bodies are 95% water and made up of 2 layers of cells. The jelly in between gives them their name. Long, stinging tentacles hang beneath the umbrella, alongside more slender arms which feed food into their mouths. Woe betide any fish which gets in the way of these murderous threads. For balance, jellyfish have special gravity-sensing cells on the bell rim. When they wobble too far to one side, these cells make their muscles contract and they rebalance. To move, they fill their umbrella section with water, then push it out. This propels the jellyfish in the opposite direction, but it's a haphazard form of travel. They have little control over which way they go. The long, waving arms of kelp beds can easily snare a jellyfish. Once these drifters are caught, there's no way they can wobble to freedom. Escape is an option for these creatures, and is the reason for some remarkable moves. Stars they are, but fish they aren't. They come in different shapes, sizes, and colors, but all starfish share common traits. And as they live at a slow pace, if you want to see how they move, it helps to speed things up. Most have 5 arms, and if they happen to lose a limb, no problem. They just grow a new one. Each of its arms is lined with hundreds of tubed feet, and at the end of each foot is a tiny sucker. The starfish moves by taking water through a disc at its center and pumping it into the suckers, expanding the feet to push it forward. It's slow going, but these suckers have another, deadlier use. Together, they have enough suction to tear open a sea urchin, pull out its insides, and feast on its guts. Starfish have no eyes, ears, or nose, but light-sensitive cells and tentacles on the tips of their arms guide them to food. Sea anemones are a favorite. The anemone fights back, striking the starfish with harpoon-like stinging cells. In the end, flight, not fight, seems the best option, and the anemone heads for safer waters. If 5 arms are deadly, what could a starfish do with 20 arms? The giant sunstar can grow up to 80 centimeters across. It's an undersea nightmare. Once it's pinned a victim down, it dissolves it with powerful digestive enzymes and sucks the resulting soup into its huge gut. From hydraulic starfish to spring-loaded insects. Springtails have an equally ingenious way of moving, but like jellyfish, they've got design faults. Springtails are tiny wingless insects, but they can still take to the air. These aptly named mites have got a built-in catapult. Their bellies had a forked tail-like attachment. When resting, it's folded forward, but when they need to move, their tails snap open and fling them high into the air. Springtails are only 5 to 6 millimeters long, but they can leap up to 10 centimeters, 20 times their body length. We'd be jumping 36 meters. Leaping is an excellent way to avoid predators, but there are drawbacks. They have no directional control. If they're unlucky, they land right in another danger zone. Springtails have mastered moving up. It's the downs which let them down. For a more controlled descent, nature's invented the wheel. In the dusty dunes of Namibia, a white lady spider has an ingenious way of getting out of trouble. They build their homes by digging holes in the sand, but unwanted guests come calling. Black dune wasps prey on the white ladies. The wasp digs the spider out and with one sting paralyzes it. Once the spider's still and apparently lifeless, the wasp places it in a new sandy burrow and lays an egg on its body. When the egg hatches, the paralyzed spider becomes a living larder. But if they hear the wasps in time, these freewheeling spiders have a cunning way of escaping this gruesome end. They roll out of harm's way. They do so by flipping their bodies sideways and then cartwheeling on their bent legs. At 20 revolutions a second, the spider looks like a blurred ball as it wheels down the dunes. Leaping, bounding, slithering or flapping. Whatever you need to get around, over, through or across, the natural world has the answers. Raw nature's always on the move.